Hi, this is John Henry Sheridan with John Henry Guitar Lessons, and this video is called Beginner Guitar Class Alternative Ideas, and that means alternative to the traditional single string tab method material that I normally speak about and advocate. I still advocate it and I recommend using it, but it may not always work for people depending on their situation. Maybe some students aren't ready for it, maybe there's not enough discipline to use it yet, maybe they just don't find it viscerally exciting enough. So here are some other ideas that I want to put forth that I have used when I taught in a classroom for about a year in a rough school in East New York, Brooklyn. Also, just from observing and talking with many teachers, I don't have a lot of experience in a classroom, but I do have 20 plus years as a private teacher and working with groups and stuff like that. So, and I talk to teachers. So I do have a perspective that may be worth considering, I believe. So you guys probably have more experience than I do, chances are, with teaching music in a classroom. So know that, and just, it's like I'm alternative medicine. Like I'm just another option to take something in to hopefully enrich what you already know and maybe give you some new ideas along the way. So what I understand from my experience and from what I hear from talking with teachers is that classroom management is super important. I won't belabor it. That's what I hear. It makes sense to me because it's like my own personal routine every day. If I don't stick to it, I get up, I eat, I pray, and then I do my business. I come home, I pray, and I write out what I'm going to do the next day, the night before, and that keeps me on track to do the things that I want to do. If I don't do that, I fall off track, and if I don't pray in the morning, I get off track. And so I have a routine, and that keeps me going forward. So I imagine the same would be true for a classroom. And I remember being in classrooms that if a student can trust that when he or she goes to this classroom, something predictable will take place. And within that setting, structure, there will be also unpredictable magic too. But there'll be a predictability that they can depend on. That's what I'll say for that. I don't know how to do classroom management besides like you take your, if they walk in, they're noisy, you make them go back out into the hall, re-enter. I heard about that. Thank you, Ronnie Nissenboim, for sharing that point with me. Otherwise, I don't know. I was never good at it. So, done. So next, if the kids are not quite ready for guitar, if you think they're not trustworthy yet, or they're just not, mentally ready for it, then maybe start with singing. And you could pick any song that you think they know and like, that's not sort of negative, and or one that you trust that they're gonna know. So 3 songs that I could think of is No One by Alicia Keys. That was the era I was teaching. That was a new song, 2007, 2008, and the kids, everyone knew the words. It was kind of amazing, so I learned all the words. I imagine kids nowadays may know it from their siblings or their parents. No, for those of you who don't know it. No one, no one, no one can get in the way of how I'm feeling. No one. So it's just those 4 chords. It's kind of fun to sing. Apologize is another fun one for kids to sing and feel like it's cool, Standing on a road got me 10 feet off the ground. Sorry. I'm hearing what you say, but I just can't make a sound. Anyway, it's too late to apologize. It's too late. You find the right key, you do it right. I'm not doing it right. That's a good song. I've done that with kids. They kind of get into it. It's about a breakup, but depending on the kid's age, they might like it a lot. And 3 Little Birds, you really can't go wrong with that. Now, don't worry about a thing. You could just sing and clap it, or once they grab the guitar, you can teach them the bass line, you know, 6th string, 5th fret, don't worry about a thing. Once they know how to sing it. 'Cause every little thing, 10th fret, D, gonna be alright. Back to 5th fret. Singing, don't worry about a thing. You know, you can do that with any song that you feel is simple enough to break it into very simple bass parts. You could have someone do the same exact thing on the high E string, don't worry, on 2 strings or 1, about a thing. You could apply this to any simple song. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Try to stick with, you know, just 2-string bars or single notes. Okay, so that's for singing. All right, now I'm just gonna get to the end of it, which is cool, simple riffs that you can jam on. So, first and foremost, it's always Smoke on the Water. It's just so easy. It's fun. And high E string, it's Deep by Deep Purple. 0, 3, 5, 0, 3, 6, 5, 0, 3, 5, 3, 0. And you know, kids get, even in a group setting, I've done it several times, you just say 0, 3, 5, then they start to help each other. Those who can't get that, 0, you fix it. 3, okay, right, 5, got it, no, 5 like this. If they want to use one finger, don't stop them. Let them do one finger. 0, 3, 6, 5. You know, I think right now you want to instill in them a passion for guitar, or a love or appreciation, that they're not afraid of it, that they don't think they suck, that they don't think it's too hard, they can't do it. Whatever they got to do. You want them to hit a wall too soon. So if they want to use their thumb, whatever, I encourage it. Let them do it. Especially if you're not having results that you want. So results of people playing music and it sounding good and them having fun is definitely better than them doing it right. If they're not going to do it right at all, right? So let kids just be themselves. That's my philosophy. It's also maybe why I'm not in a public school system, because my philosophy doesn't accord with standard. I don't know, but also because I have a small bladder and I have to pee too often, so being in public school doesn't work for me. Whatever. Okay, so you could do this. So high E string, 0, 3, 5, 0, 3, 6, 5, 0, 3, 5, 3, 0. On the high E string, then have the more advanced players or daring players to do it in low E. I'll do it with my thumb, because if you see this, it's okay if they want to do this. 0, 3, 5. Have them do it together. 0, 3, 5. Not 2 strings at a time, but one group doing the high E, one group doing the low E. Then you could have a group doing the B string. Who wants to do it in the 2nd string? Who wants a challenge? 0, 3, 5, 0, 3, 6, 5. Let them play in the B string. And then you're going to have this come all together, which will sound cool if you get that in rhythm. And all by rote. I mean, you can write out the numbers, very basic way, but no rhythms. Just let them feel it. Kids can usually feel it, especially if they have sort of discipline issues. That means they probably have a good sense of like trusting their body. I don't know, my experience. So let them just feel it. Eye of the Tiger, you could do the same idea. Let's do it in A, key of A, so 5th fret. 5, 5, 3, 5, 5, 3, 5, 5, 0, 1, or 5, 3, 1, you choose it. 5, 5, 3, 5, 5, 3, 5, 5, 3, 1, right? And then have them do it in low E string, another part of group, or have all of them do it, you know, however you want to. Another thing is milk it. So if you get their attention, they're into it, do as much of it as you can until they really get it, and then time flies by. When students feel that time's flying by, they probably can't wait to come back. So that's a good thing. So milk anything that they're really soaking in. Praise them. And then when necessary, be strict. This is just what works for me. Like I said, I'm not a brilliant classroom teacher. I've had success in group settings, but one-on-one, this is what works for me, and in small groups that I've worked with. Praise them, milk it if it's working, and be strict when necessary. Strict with compassion. And also go with the flow to an extent. If you start something off and some kid has this idea to just like jam on some notes and it works and other kids are joining in, or it just sounds cool, jump on that, go with it, show them how flexible you are, that you can just create music on the spot with them. It's cool. And then you go back, okay, let's go back to the main riff. Ready? After we play 3, now we're gonna go 1, 2, back to the main thing. The idea, it's gonna be messy, just kind of bring it back with the power of your own playing. All right, cool, let's do it again. 5, 5, 3, 5, 5, 3, 5, 5, 3, 1. Okay, and then last point, I think it was going too far here, but I don't know when I'm gonna post again. So, Breaking the Law by Judas Priest. Kids will probably like the title, right? So 5, 7, 8, 5, 7, 8, 5, 7, 8, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 3, 8, 7, 5, 7, 8, 5, 7, 8, 5, 7, 8, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 3, 8, 7. So that'll take a little time. That's not the first song you do with them, maybe third, fourth. And but some of the more advanced ones will get it fast. So you'll get that melody going. They're gonna play it all the time. So other kids are gonna be able to copy it. But anyway, there's a bass line. So this time you get to combine. So you got 5, 1, 3, 5. The 2 measures. I'm doing chord notes. 1 chord note for 1 measure. 3 chord notes for 1 measure. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 1. 3, 3, 3, 5, 4, 2 measures. 1 for 1 measure. 3 for 1 measure. Then together. Sorry. So I can't quite do it, but the syncopation, but ba 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 ba. Yeah, that's cool. Then when they get fancy enough, you can, if someone's bored or wants a little more, challenge the more advanced ones to do power chords. So this type of playing, it kind of gives everyone something to do. This is what I've evolved over the years. I was always sick of playing things where I had to fight so hard to get them to a certain level. So if you do songs like this or use this method of breaking the strings up using the keys that are good for guitar, you'll find that you can have people do a single string thing on the high E and they'll be happy there. Some can do, you know, 2 strings, the first and second strings combine as a bar. Some can do a bass line, some can do power chords, and you can have like a band thing going on without actually really teaching different things. It all comes from one idea that's just kind of shaped in different ways. All right, so this is what I found to be useful. It worked for me when I was teaching in that classroom back in 2007, 2008, with unruly, kind of wild students. I wasn't teaching guitar class, it was more keyboards, drums, guitar, and other, whatever instruments were lying around. But yeah, so that's my ideas for now. Anyway, wishing you an absolutely fantastic guitar teaching year, 2018, 2019. Please reach out. On the bottom, please comment what's working for you, where are your challenges, anything that you'd like to share. I appreciate it. Take care.